And now Natasha is joining us all the way from the other side of the studio with a political rundown. So take it away, Natasha.
All right, so it's been almost a month since the Israeli national elections, and you're probably wondering what the next Israeli government is going to look like, but that's a complicated question to answer. So here's the breakdown on what's happening. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been given the mandate to form the next coalition, even though his party Likud only won 32 seats in the election, which is 1 seat less than his main opposition, Blue and White, which won 33. So why was he given the mandate to form a government? Well, it's because he has 55 seats of support from right-wing parties, including United Torah Judaism, Yamina, and Shas, which adds up to a larger bloc than the 54 center-left-wing seats that Blue and White's Benny Gantz was able to secure. Here's the problem, though. An Israeli coalition government requires a majority of 61 seats out of 120 in the Knesset, and Netanyahu still doesn't have those seats. So where do things stand now? Well, Israel's still looking at a deadlock. From the beginning, Israeli President Reuven Rivlin has been pushing for a unity government that would see both Likud and Blue and White joining forces. Doing so would most likely mean that Netanyahu and Blue and White number one Gantz would implement rotational leadership, in which both party leaders would each serve 2 years as prime minister, but power would be equally divided. But the problem is that Netanyahu says he would only sit in a government with Blue and White if it included his right-wing allies, and Blue and White will not agree to that. Blue and White also is refusing to sit in a government with Netanyahu while the prime minister is awaiting results following his hearings for corruption charges. Now, the so-called kingmaker Avigdor Lieberman has presented a 4-point plan for a unity government. Lieberman is the chairman of the Israel Beitenu party, which won 8 seats in the elections, and he's refused to sit in a right-wing government under Netanyahu because he's against ultra-Orthodox parties being in the government. At the same time, he also refused to sit in a left-wing government under Gantz because he's against Arabs sitting in the government. In other words, he says that a unity government is the only scenario that he would support. In his plan, he says that there are 4 steps. First, Likud and Blue and White must clearly define all of the issues on the agenda: security, economy, social, and church and state. Then they should adopt President Rivlin's proposal for a power-sharing compromise, with Netanyahu serving first rotation as prime minister, and then they should pass the budget and a multi-year defense plan. At that point, other parties should be allowed to join the coalition if they agree to the government's guiding principles. Well, Likud has rejected the proposal, and Blue and White is welcoming it, which means that still, Israel is in a deadlock. Here's the issue, though. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has been given until October 24th to form a coalition. That's a mere 2 weeks away, and if he fails, Benny Gantz will be given the chance to form a government. And if Benny Gantz can't do it either, well, say hello to third elections.